Jonathan Majors been at court, been under investigation for claims of assault, and he's been found guilty. Found guilty of assault and harassment now. And he has now been dropped by Marvel. And I guess I wonder what the fallout is going to be and how it's possibly going to be managed, right? Because like him or not, like whether you think the character was botched in terms of his introduction, he definitely was. But Kang was a massive part of the MCU in terms of their overarching story. And I wonder what the hell do you do with him now? You can't just like blink him out of existence without any explanation. There would have to be something. And recasting him is going to be difficult because you've kind of established that every version of him everywhere is Jonathan Majors. So I don't know what they do going forwards, but it seems like lose-lose.
They could just ignore him and pretend Kang doesn't exist, and I don't think it would impact the quality at all with what they're making. No one cares.
Intro from Drink of Theirs, if Disney would never break continuity, destroy everything. That's not something they would ever engage in. If they literally never mention Kang again, I don't think people would even care, especially if they waved Doctor Doom, Magneto, Mephisto, or Galactus in their face. Like, look at this.
I mean, surely there would be fans who would say, "Hey, this Kang guy, he was supposed to be a big deal."
These are the same fans who don't know what happened in Secret Invasion, despite posting about how much it was amazing. They already don't know. They've already forgotten Ahsoka. These are the people who just be like. Besides, if he's been found guilty, they'll be like, "I'm glad they didn't reference him. I'm glad they're ignoring it." That sort of thing. Like, I
mean, the end of Loki season 2. Where he becomes the god of stories, which they sort of leaned into in the comics as well. You know, if we never saw Kang again, you could point to Loki season 2 and say,
you can.
Well, there you go.
To be fair, Loki could have made anything happen at that point, so you can say you erased Kang.
I mean, I think the funny thing about Kang is they always tried to bring him down to earth. He was always too human of a villain. I mean, I think Jonathan Majors is actually a tremendous talent as an actor. And physically, he's a great presence. He has another film he made that I desperately want to see. I don't know if you've seen it, Chris. Magazine Dreams.
Yeah, one of our writers said it's really good. But
he's a bodybuilder in that.
And it's supposed to be a great film.
It was supposed to come out in December, and they were going to push him for Oscars.
It's owned by Searchlight. It's owned by Disney. It's going to get buried.
Yep.
And I think that. Look, Jonathan Majors doesn't have the greatest reputation in the industry. But I think he's delivered. I mean, Creed 3, he was, I think, a tremendous antagonist. He has a really great screen presence when he's allowed to act. And I think it's unfortunate that I would love to have seen him play a Thanos-type role, but they didn't build him up that way. He just kept getting defeated. You know, in Loki season 1, in Quantum Mania, he was a guy. Whereas Thanos was a larger-than-life personality that they spent a long time sort of teasing him. But when he finally came into his own, he was a great antagonist where they kept defanging Kang with what they'd already done.
Yeah, you can only show your bad guy losing so many times before he just loses his intimidation factor. And that's exactly what they did with him. And we've talked about this before. I know these are all different variations of him, but then you associate that with the character. And if you just see him do nothing but lose, it just builds up that picture in your mind that this guy's not a threat. Because
it was weird the way they did that.
Yeah, I mean, him being defeated by ants was just pathetic.
Communist ants, no less.
Yeah,
I mean, this was a man, Ramatep and all that, knew apocalypse back in ancient Egypt. And he was at the end of time. I mean, and yet they still managed. I think they didn't give him the mystique he deserved. He was always doing things that were so, down to earth, which sort of was a bummer.
Yeah, when he says, like, I am Kang, you talk to ants. It's like, you want to hear dialogue a little more, I don't know, aged and powerful from a character like that instead of like, you suck.
It's almost on par with Napoleon when the Ridley Scott movie where he's just like going to the British ambassador. You think you're so great because you have boats. That was an actual line.
Really? Oh my god.
Fucking Napoleon. Yeah, really. I'm sure he said that. Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know
just...
what I don't know what they'll do. I just don't care as well at the same time. What I found interesting, it came out in the, and I didn't pay too much attention to the trial stuff. I only watched a couple of videos, but one of the things that came out was a line he said to his girlfriend, Majors, and it was something along the lines of like how important he felt he was, like he's some type of idol to people.
He was a great man. Yeah, he was on par with like Malcolm X, and
I mean, the narcissism of Hollywood actors. You sometimes wonder if it's just an isolated case with this random nutcase like Amber Turd or something like that. But it's so consistent. As soon as something comes out about these people, what they actually say in private and what they think of themselves, it's just like these people are awful. They're so up themselves. I couldn't give a crap about them now.
I agree. No, those texts were like, obviously the things he's been convicted of are terrible, but like the thing that's equally damning is just the insight into his personality, and oh man, it's dire.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it's so refreshing when you actually come across a celebrity that does seem to be level-headed and a real, like Henry Cavill, that actually is grateful for what they have. They don't think they're the best things in sliced bread or stuff like that, and people respond very positively because we just want decent people in these roles and things.
Yeah, like you say, people who are just grateful to be doing this stuff.
Yes, and they should be grateful. They're so damn privileged to be in positions that they have, to get the fame that they have. Also, of course, the fact that they get all this money. And then when you see like Rachel Zegler say, "I deserve to be paid X amount for every hour I'm in a Disney dress," like, oh really? Do you think that for the actors that work in the parks that are in those dresses all day? But no, the entitlement that comes out of Hollywood is just sickening.